Hey there, everybody, and welcome to this Thursday edition of OutKick Bets. I am your host, Kayla Canarum, and as always, we've got Arky Shay over there in Alabama joining us today. Arky, we made it to Thursday. Congratulations to us. How you doing?
I am so good. I mean, if I was any happier, there probably had to be two of me. I'm so happy right now. I love it. It's Thursday.
It's Thursday. It's almost Friday, which means college football weekend, NFL weekend. We're going to get to all of that in a second, but we're going to start off today in where we always start, a bet last night. So how did you do in your bets, Arky? Tell us all about it.
Oh, well, I guess you were going to have to ask about that. I'm cold right now. Like, I'm chilly.
Oh.
Like, I am Rose blowing the whistle at the end of Titanic cold right now. Like, it is a chilly time. I had the two MAC games last night, and I thought Northern Illinois would be able to win last night against Kent State, and they led early, and they looked pretty good, and then Kent State put 31 on them in the second quarter, and that wasn't very good. And then I had this under on the Central Michigan game last night, and that one looked okay for about 2.5, almost 3 full quarters, and the bottom fell out of it too. So the MACtion not treating me very kindly on Wednesday night. So I'm looking for greener pastures and wallets here tonight.
You and me both. Yeah, I'm the idiot who took the under of 68.5. Like you said, Kent State 52, Northern Illinois 47. So whoops there. As far as the Bulls game, I took Chicago plus 1.5, and they fell to the 76ers 103-98. So I am also cold, apparently.
Yeah, that Bulls game, very frustrating.
Yeah, indeed. Something that did go my way, however, Kings Blues. This was the last game of the series for them this year, and I took the under of 5.5, and guess what it was? 5. So thank you very much. It did go into 4 shootouts, but the Kings got it done at home, just like I thought they would. Never a doubt.
You're cued in on the hockey right now. I'll give you that. You're warming up there.
I'm not doing bad in hockey, honestly. Maybe I should stick to hockey. Who knows? All right, we're going to head into our game of the day, which is, of course, Thursday Night Football. We've got a riveting game in the AFC East versus the AFC South. The 2-5 Jets visit the 3-5 Colts. I will say, Thursday Night Football games have been surprisingly competitive and exciting, so maybe we'll be pleasantly surprised with this game. What are you thinking going into this right now?
So this actually is a little more riveting than you might look on the surface of this game. The Jets are coming off a big win, a big comeback win at home against Cincinnati last week, and the Indianapolis Colts are coming off a really disappointing loss when they gave that game away against the Titans last Sunday. So both these teams coming off a short week, and a big number for Indianapolis here tonight. 10.5 is a lot for a short week game, and I think we're looking really just how bad the Jets are in general. I'm very interested in this game, but I think I'm not quite 100% sure that I'm good with the spread itself. It doesn't feel very good. Even though the road teams are 5-2 against the spread in Thursday Night Football this season, that's not a trend I trust right now. Mike effing White, I mean, that dude magic, 405 yards last week. He had 20 targets to his running backs last week. 20! That's a whole heck of a lot. And he still got 405 yards off of it. It was a very good effort by him. But I don't like this spot for the Jets. And I don't like this spot for Indianapolis either. Like, these are two teams that I think are going to be emotionally hungover coming into this game. The Jets coming off a huge win, and if you get a huge emotional win, you kind of want to fade that team the next week. And then you got Indianapolis coming off a huge emotional loss in division to Tennessee. Kind of want to fade that too. So I'm going to play with the total here, right? This is going to be a 45.5, and I think Mike White comes back to earth a little bit, and I think the Colts probably win too. But I don't like the number, and I'm going to go under 45.5 tonight for Thursday Night Football.
That's exactly what I'm doing, and I forgot to read the lines at the top. All lines are according to FanDuel Sportsbook. Like you said, Jets plus minus 10.5. Their money line is plus 410. while the Colts is minus 550. At the total is 45.5. Yeah, like you said, Jets coming off that surprising win against Cincinnati last week. Colts looking to bounce back after falling to the Titans. Colts' 3 wins have come against the Dolphins, Texans, and 49ers. So maybe that will be able to add the Jets to that stellar list tonight. Jets, on the other hand, have picked up wins against the Titans and Bengals, which is a bit of a head scratcher. Nothing makes sense this year, in my opinion.
Right.
Battle of Zach Wilson versus Carson Wentz. I'm rolling with the Colts and Carson all day. However, I'm going to take the Jets plus 10.5. I just feel like these two teams are pretty close on paper, and that seems like a big number to me. So I like the Jets plus 10.5. Totals have gone over in 2 of the Colts' last 5 games, and the totals have also gone over in 2 of the Jets' last 5 games. But I'm going to ignore all of that, and I'm going to take the under because, I don't know, I just feel like like you said, I think they're going to be coming off these hangovers. Jets are averaging 16.3 points per game, and the Colts are averaging 25.0. So even though I really want to lean over, I'm going to take the under. So in summary, Jets plus 10.5 and the under of 45.5.
Yeah, I think the plus 10.5 is a really intriguing number there because the Colts are giving up 29 points at home per game this season. The Colts are giving up 29 a game at home this season, and I don't ever feel like I can trust Carson Wentz. He gave the game away twice last week to the Titans. I don't think he's above giving the game away again tonight. So the 10.5 might be an interesting number to sort of dabble a little bit on. But if you're going to do it, go ahead, put some on the money line. Make it go crazy. Like, there could be some literal Mike effing White magic going on here, the kid from Western Kentucky. So maybe. There's a little maybe, but I'm still with you. I'm on the under, definitely.
All right, rolling the under all day. We're going to head over to our spotlight matchup, college football, the 4-4 Georgia State Panthers. What's up, Coach Taylor? At the 7-1 Louisiana Ragin' Cajuns, who are first in the Sun Belt West and ranked 24th in the AP Top 25. Their lines go as follows. Georgia State plus minus 12.5. Their money line is plus 390. Louisiana's is minus 550 with the total of 53.5. Listen, Louisiana fell to Texas in week 1 and hasn't lost a game since. Some of those have been significant wins and some have been a difference of a few points here and there, but I don't think that's going to happen here tonight. We should probably mention that Georgia State is on a streak of their own, having won the last 3. So let's talk numbers. The Panthers are 5-3 against the spread, and Louisiana is 3-5 against the spread, and obviously undefeated in conference play. Ragin' Cajuns are firing on all cylinders, including defense, that is currently holding opponents to 18.5 points per game, ranking them 15th in the nation. And when playing at home, Louisiana has outscored their opponents by an average of 23.5 points. So, moral of the story here is, give me Louisiana minus 12.5, Arky. How are you betting this game?
Boy, that is really, really tempting number there. Like, that is right at the cusp of what I think is probably acceptable to sort of play in this game. Midweek double-digit favorites in these games just are hard. They're hard to play, and a lot of them have been on the road and they haven't covered. But this one's at home, and Louisiana is 3-5 against the spread, but they're 3-1 at home. And that's much more important to sort of pay attention to tonight. They're unbeaten in conference play since starting off with that really disappointing loss to Texas and a nail-biter, unfortunately, to FCS Nicholls State. They have been really, really humming offensively so far. The total scares me because I've been bitten twice by their total this year when I thought it would go under, and they backdoor me at the end of the game. So I think I'm going to lead with Louisiana minus 12.5. I'm not in love with this, so this is going to be a conservative play for me. But Georgia State, the team that's running for 280 yards a game in their last 3 wins that you talked about, like they are doing phenomenally. And they still have a chance to win their Division II in the Sun Belt and possibly force a rematch if some things go their way if they start by winning tonight at Louisiana. So there's a lot on the line for them. They average 17.5 points a game in the season, but 30 inside conference play. Still, though, give me the fighting Billy Napiers of Louisiana minus 12.5 because they are at home. I like that just about as good as I can like anything else on this card. So I'm going minus 12.5 right there with you. We are double teaming this one today, 2K.
I was just going to say, we are twinning today, Arky.
Yeah, we are twinning.
Same wavelength.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to our hot games. Hot Jambalaya. Can you name that movie?
50 Shades of Grey?
No.
No?
Oh my gosh. It was Mrs. Doubtfire. Thank you.
Oh, I haven't seen that movie in forever. That's a great. Hello.
Well, hello. Yes. Okay. Let's get back on track here. Our hot games of the day. Arky, you're starting with a little Auburn, Texas A&M action. Where are you going with this game?
Yeah, so this is an intriguing game, right? Like, Auburn is playing as good a football as they've played all season. Bo Nix is playing as good a football as he's played in his entire career right now. And they're getting 4.5 points going to Texas A&M. Now, 2 years ago when they went to Texas A&M, there were also two teams that were ranked, and Auburn was a 4-point underdog, and they pulled off the big upset and held on to win at the end at Aggieland. I think this game is so fascinating for so many reasons because Texas A&M has been blistering hot on offense since beating Alabama a few weeks ago. And they've had 2 weeks to prepare for this game in particular. Auburn is 2-1 against the spread on the road, which is a fine mark. Their one loss being at Penn State. You may remember that weird fade on 4th down and goal at the end of the game. But regardless of that situation, it's a much different team playing right now. The running game is playing phenomenally. Their offensive line for Auburn is doing really, really well. Texas A&M is kind of the team we thought they were going to be coming into the season, but they just now have gotten there with quarterback Zach Calzada. It is a tough number to sort of figure out. But I think I'm going to play the under 49.5 this game. I think both teams are going to be a little wary coming out of the gate. I don't think you're going to see these two teams really go for the throat until you get to the second half. I think they're going to kind of feel each other out, and I think they're just going to keep fighting until we get to the fourth quarter. So I'm going to go under 49.5 for Auburn and Texas A&M as far as my first hot game for today.
All right. I like that. I also like A&M minus 4.5, but this is going to be a good game. I'm looking forward to it.
I mean, A&M scored 68 points in the last two games since that win over Alabama. If you add that one, that's 102 points. I mean, they've been really, really hot offensively. They're a much different team. They might be able to cover that spread for sure.
Rolling. They are rolling.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to take it over to the NFL for a little AFC East taking on the NFC South. New England 4-4 at Panthers 4-4. So who will go 5-4 and who will go 4-5? Arky, hard to say. The lines go as follows: New England plus minus 3.5. They are favored. Money line minus 190. Carolina plus 160 with a total of 41. Both teams are coming off wins last weekend, including the Pats, who beat the Chargers in LA. That was very exciting. I would have loved to have seen Mac Jones versus Sam Darnold, but that is still unlikely after Darnold took a hit in last week's game and is currently in concussion protocol. Carolina is in they're going to have second-year quarterback Josh Love and signed him to their practice squad this week. So while it's at home for the Panthers because of the current quarterback carousel, I'm going to stick with New England here at minus 3.5, and I'm not going to get near the total since we don't know what Love is like under center. So staying away from the total, but going to take New England minus 3.5 on the road in Carolina. What do you think about that?
It's probably a good strategy, Kayla, to sort of fade backup quarterbacks, not only this week, but sort of in general. It's a very, very difficult thing to manage because New England's obviously coming off a big win against the Chargers last week, a game that a lot of people didn't think that they could win, but I thought it was a good spot for them. Regardless of that, like if you're talking about the continuity of the team, New England's kind of just playing better right now than Carolina is. Did you see that hit that Sam Darnold took against Atlanta?
It was nasty.
Oof. Ooh, like when you get your chin strap around your nose, you got messed up in a hit.
You're been bumped over to the next week at that point.
Right, and Carolina decided to run Christian McCaffrey into the ground. He's gone. They're trying to run Sam Darnold into the ground. Well, he's gone again. So if you're at Carolina and you have the ball in your hand, you kind of don't want that at this point because it spells bad omens for you. So I would probably lean that way with you. I think it's a smart play to be on the New England side.
All right. Thank you. Thanks for backing me up there, pal.
Well, yeah. You make a good pick. I tell you make a good pick. Now, again, you're talking about the guy who's rose from the Titanic cold, so, I may be telling you the wrong thing right now.
There we go. All right, in your last hot game of the day, Lakers, Thunder, the revenge game. I'm pumped for this. Where are you going with this one?
I am going to go ahead and take this time now on this program in front of as many as 6 or 7 people that might be watching right now to say I am sorry for what I'm about to say to the Oklahoma City Thunder fan base. And I am also pre-apologizing to the Oklahoma City Thunder for what the Lakers are about to do to you tonight. This is the epitome of a revenge game and bad spot for Oklahoma City. The Lakers, you may remember 8 days ago, had a 42-29 lead at the end of the first quarter against Oklahoma City, in Russell Westbrook's return game.
Yep.
What did OKC decide to do?
Come back.
Try. They decided to try in that game, and they came back and won that game with a great fourth quarter outing, and they took advantage of the Lakers and Russell Westbrook getting kicked out of that game. They took every advantage of the Lakers in that game, and they're going to have to pay for it. Because the Lakers are a veteran-laden team who know games like this only matter when there's motivation to in the freaking month of November. There's motivation too in this game. The Lakers have been sitting at home ever since that game happened, while OKC's been on the West Coast for this is their third game of a 3-game road trip they're having to face. So it's a bad spot in general. It's a revenge game. Carmelo Anthony's playing as good as he's played in the last couple of seasons. The Lakers want this one and found the motivation bad. 13 is very much not enough in this game. The Lakers will embarrass the Thunder tonight.
Whoa, are you serious? I'm leaning Thunder plus 13.
I'm sorry to tell you, you're about to be wrong on this one. This one matters. Most of these games don't matter early in November, but if you give a reason to give a team that's so old, like the Lakers, to care, it's bad news for you. They're going to care about this game at home at the Staples Center. Of course, they're going to embarrass Oklahoma City, and they should. They should embarrass them for how they played. Not for how Oklahoma City played, how they played when they went to Oklahoma City after that first quarter.
I'm a little upset that I didn't know about this game until last night. I would have tried to have gone. Maybe I still can. Maybe there's still time. They're also going to be back in April, so maybe we'll wait for that one. But, yeah, let's call it blind optimism. I like the Thunder plus 13. I think they're going to hang. I think they're going to fight. Is this a new rivalry, do we think?
That wasn't nice to laugh, but no.
Once the Thunder get better, let me clarify. Once the Thunder get better, could it be a rivalry?
I mean, if you want to substitute the Lakers for like the Rockets, maybe.
Okay.
That was kind of mean. I'm sorry, but yeah, no, it's not. Maybe like, give me Josh Giddey and then a couple more dudes. Maybe. But Sam Presti's got 200 draft picks. They'll figure it out.
They'll figure it out. And Sam Presti we trust is what I always say. I need to get that on a shirt.
Yeah, someone's got to work out for them, right? So,
Oh man, it's rough, but we'll see how that game goes. Yeah. I'm hoping the Thunder can hang at least and not get humiliated at Staples, but TBD.
I'm just telling you, I've seen the future. It ain't bright.
Wow. Okay, this got dark. Let's head on over now to our quick hitters of the day. Arky, you've got a good one for us. Titans, Rams, break it all down.
Yeah, so the Titans are a 7.5-point underdog right now, according to FanDuel, heading into Los Angeles for this huge matchup on Sunday Night Football. And the momentum for Tennessee has been just building and building and building because they have beaten Kansas City, and before that they beat Buffalo and then beat division rival, and probably the only team that can compete with them this year in the division is Indianapolis, and they've swept them already. So they've had such great news that it was with heavy hearts that Derrick Henry went out for the next 8 weeks because of a foot surgery he's going to have. And
brutal.
It's not just that. He's going to be out. Julio Jones may be out again. We're not quite sure. We'll see what happens in today's practice, which will be finding out if Julio ran around a little bit with the Titans yesterday at practice, but we're not quite sure. Yeah, but if you miss him and you miss Derrick Henry, I start to hate this next number I'm about to give you, which is Mike Vrabel as an underdog since last season is 7-2 against the spread. And not only that, he has won all 7 of those games. So, as an underdog, he's made you a bunch of money since last season if you just bet him to win straight up. Not only just the spread, but straight up. But they're going to have to find some pressure to get onto Matt Stafford. Bud Dupree's going to have to do something. Jeffrey Simmons is going to have to do something. I don't know what they're going to be able to do, to be honest with you. Harold Landry leads the team with 8.5 sacks. I mean, he's going to have to do something on that offensive line to be able just to stop Matt Stafford from being so good, because they lead the league in air plays of 40-plus yards. They have 14 plays they've gone 40-plus yards through the air. 14 of them already. They're a super explosive offense. It's difficult right now. I'm going to wait to see what happens with Julio Jones and how Adrian Peterson might look once we find out the Thursday reports for the practice to figure out what I'm going to like on this number. But the trend is that I don't want to play the Titans plus 7.5 and to continue the 7-2 trend.
Okay. Selfishly, I am rooting for the Rams because obviously we saw what the Titans did to the Chiefs, and that was humiliating. So
yeah.
I would love to see them lose.
Okay, fair enough. And you're probably going to get your wish, to be honest with you. You're probably going to get that wish.
Super mature of me, I know. All right, I'm going to head over to one that we've already touched on briefly this week, but how things have changed. The Packers, 7-1 at Arrowhead, playing the Chiefs, 4-4. I can't believe how lucky the Chiefs got yesterday with Aaron Rodgers and his COVID news breaking. I think we all just kind of couldn't believe it, honestly. Green Bay plus minus 7.5 now. Their money line is plus 275. Chiefs favored, and their money line is minus 340 with a total of 48. As we talked about, the lines moved from 1.5 to now 7.5. Arky, I am still afraid to take the Chiefs at minus 7.5 because they have done me dirty as of late, and I just don't trust them yet. Jordan Love could step up as QB1, but it was also reported that Blake Bortles was flown out to Green Bay and signed to their practice squad and could be eligible for Sunday's roster. So TBD on the QB. By the way, I hope Aaron Rodgers is okay. I'm not excited that he is sick, but I am relieved he is not playing, if that's fair.
You're not excited that he's sick, but the timing is okay.
The timing is okay, yes. We hope he is well. We hope he recovers quickly, but if he's out against the Chiefs, I'm okay with that. Regardless, we've talked about it at length. The Chiefs need to lock it up. We are sloppy. We are playing reckless, which never mattered before because those reckless plays actually worked in our favor, which this year they're not. So it's not as fun. I don't know what the fix is, but I hope it happens this weekend. As far as the trends go, the Packers are 7-0 against the spread in their last 7 games. The Chiefs, on the other hand, are 3-15-1 against the spread in their last 19 games, only covering the spread once in their last game out, and no one knows that more than me. So until they can prove otherwise, I will no longer be betting the spread for Chiefs games. So until further notice. We talked about how the lines moved. So I'm not going to take them in the spread, but I am going to take the under here at 48 because, I don't know, I expected Patrick Mahomes to go off Monday night, and that didn't happen either. So I know the QB situation is unclear for the Packers at this time, but because they're going to have someone new in, because I don't know what to expect from the Chiefs right now, I'm going to lean the under, and I'm going to stay away from the spread. So that's where we're going with this game. Yeah,
if Kansas City wasn't going to get right against the Giants on Monday night, when were they going to get right? Like, they sort of set up for them perfectly. So I'm with you. Let's stay away from the spread in this game right now, and probably for good, at least for Kansas City, because there's a thing in sports betting, like, you don't throw good money after bad teams. And I'm not saying Kansas City's a bad team, but they're not a good team, and they're definitely not a trustworthy, reliable team. All they did is told you what you just gave us that stat. 3-15-1 in their last 19 shots at the spread. So maybe you play Green Bay against the spread, but how do you know what Jordan Love is at this point? You don't. Right. So the best thing to do is to try to play the total, and you're going with the under, and I think that's all right. Going with the under. All right, your next game, you are heading over to Texans-Dolphins. Yes. Wow. Yes. Kayla, this is called a sicko game. Right? Like you have to be a sicko to want to be able to watch this game. Or more, you have to be a diehard fan to be able to watch this game. Like, you deserve a prize if you want to watch this game. Yeah, and maybe cash. I may have to start sending individual checks out to people for their watching of this game because It's a dog of a game. It's not good. These two teams are very, very bad. Miami's at the bottom of every statistical category offensively. No one gives up more yards per game than the Miami Dolphins, which is surprising since Mike Flores, their head coach, is a defensive guy who had this team just a game out of playing for the playoffs last season. You got to want it. You got to want this game to really get there because both teams have been outscored by – actually, Miami's been outscored, I think, by 98 points, which is bad. Houston's been outscored by 122 points in this game. So the Dolphins, for some reason, are 6.5-point favorites. I think it's probably because the Texans are having a fire sale right now and getting rid of anybody they can for draft picks. So I dare not do that. But I do dare do the total of 46, and I do dare to go under that as well.
Okay, I think that's a good choice by you. Yeah. I'm going to stay away from that one completely, to be honest.
It's gross. I will give you that. It's a gross NFL game.
It is icky.
Yeah.
All right, and for my final quick hitter of the day, I'm going to go over to the NBA. Jazz 6-1. They are 3-1 on the road at the Atlanta Hawks, who are 4-4 and undefeated at home. Atlanta is -1.5. Money line -118. Atlanta's money line plus 100, and the total is 221. Utah has Donovan Mitchell as day-to-day, and Rudy Gobert is out with a right heel injury, while Atlanta will be operating at full strength. So here's the deal. Jazz are 3-2 in their last 5 against the spread, and their totals have gone over in 2 of their last 3 games. Hawks are 2-3 in their last 5 against the spread, and totals have gone over also in 2 of Atlanta's last 5 games. Donovan Mitchell will be leading the charge for Utah, figuratively, hopefully not literally for his sake, while Trae Young leads the Hawks in scoring and assist, as does Mitchell for the Jazz. So I think this will be a well-played, fairly even game as the line suggests, but I think I'm going to also take Atlanta plus 1.5 simply because of the home court advantage here. So I'm not going to mess with the total, but I do like Atlanta plus 1.5.
Yeah, I'm high on Atlanta. I think they're going to be the number 2 seed in the East when things are all said and done. It's a little jumbled right now for them early on, so that's why you sort of take these things with a grain of salt early and hope we sort of figure out who these teams are right after us.
Exactly. They need to keep that home winning streak alive too. So. All right, and finally, our games to look out for as we head into the college football and NFL weekend. Arky, you are looking forward to Broncos at Cowboys. Break it down for us.
I am, because the Cowboys are a 9.5-point favorite right now on FanDuel, which is a good number to get it at right now, because I'm going to go ahead and tell you the Cowboys minus 9.5, take it. As soon as this podcast, as soon as this program is over and stops streaming, go over there, take the 9.5. Because Dak Prescott is a full go for Mike McCarthy, at least he says, for practice today. And if that happens, that number is going to go up just a little bit more, because I think he will be a full go for practice, and he will play on Sunday against the Broncos. Now, the Broncos just got rid of Von Miller, and that makes things even better for whoever's quarterback in that team, which is, again, a Denver team that is struggling as of late, despite beating Washington last week in a real other dog of a game to be able to watch a week ago. But pay attention also to the fact that the Raiders' defense, they're only giving up like 19.5 points a game, which is good, but they've also played some of the worst offenses in the NFL. Literally the worst. Like, we're talking like Jets' worst offense they played. And the 2 teams they played that are in the top 10 offensively, which are the Raiders and who am I missing? And the Ravens, who are 11th and 8th respectively, they got beat by double digits. So you go against a really good offense, and the Broncos get kind of exposed. Take the Cowboys minus 9.5. Do not walk, run.
Oh, okay. Do you kind of wish Cooper Rush was going to be in, though, since he had such a great game?
No. Nope. I'm a Dak man.
All right, just curious. All right, and for my game to look out for, I'm heading over to college football. The Vols, 4-4 at the Kentucky Wildcats, 6-2, a little SEC action. Kentucky is second in the East, and Tennessee is right behind them in third place. Tennessee, plus minus 0.5 point. Their money line is minus 110. Kentucky's money line also minus 110 with a total of 57.5. Okay, both teams are coming off back-to-back losses, Tennessee to Ole Miss and Alabama, so that's fair. While the Wildcats' losses came at the hands of Georgia, okay, and Mississippi State. Tennessee is 3-5 against the spread. Kentucky is 6-2. The Vols are 5-3 on hitting the total, and the Wildcats are 5-3 also. Tennessee is 7-2 against the spread in their last 9 meetings together, while the under is 3-0 in their last 3 meetings. But as we know, conference games are tough to bet because anything can happen. So here's the deal. Kentucky won last season 34-7 in Knoxville. And this year they've got them at home and the better record. So I think all signs point to the Wildcats coming out on top. Is it going to be by half a point? I don't know. I think I'm going to lean Kentucky the half point here. I know I just said the under is 3-0 in their last 3, but Tennessee is averaging 34.4 points per game, and Kentucky is putting up 27. So I'm going to be crazy here on a Thursday, and I'm going to take the over of 57.5, Arky. What do you think about that?
That's an interesting number to take there. Tennessee, obviously a brand new offense and a brand new head coach. Kentucky showed me some signs that they've really struggled recently defensively, and I'm starting to fall off their bandwagon kind of quickly.
Oh, shoot.
With them. So, yeah, the over is a very interesting play. I might play the Tennessee to straight up win that game since it's going to be marginal money when it comes to how much you would actually get back or lose. So that game's a weird one for me to try to figure out. So best of luck with you on that one.
Bet of luck.
Yes.
That was bad. All right. We'll just scratch that and forget that didn't happen. All right. Well, best of luck to you all out there in your betting this weekend. Thank you to Arky. Don't forget to make your bets at fanduel.com/OutKick. And we'll see you next week. Checking in on how you did over the weekend.